I'd be remiss in neglecting to point out what's trending all over the place right now. Again, we'll get into sports headlines in a moment, but I got to start with Sean P. Diddy Combs himself, who's now had 7 new lawsuits filed against him this week. Sean P. Diddy Combs is currently being held in federal jail in Brooklyn facing sex trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy charges. 2 of the suits filed are from accusers who say they were minors at the time they were allegedly drugged and assaulted by the music mogul. Again, minors. And for the first time, other celebrities are now cited and accused of participating in an alleged assault, though they are not being identified at this particular moment in time. Look, you know what I've said. You know what I've been on the record for saying. Sean P. Diddy Combs is in a world of trouble. I'm not attaching guilt or innocence. I have no idea about his guilt or innocence. At no time have you heard me implicate him in anything. I don't know. All I'm talking about is speaking to people who cover Hollywood, speaking to legal analysts and expert, knowing law enforcement official, taking into account that the feds are after him. Say some state crime, some isolated incident or whatever. When you're talking about racketeering and sex trafficking, it's a problem. Talk about sex workers coming across state lines, that's a problem. When you're now talking about minors being involved, that's a problem. And when you talk about the potential of stars, other notable figures being implicated, that's a huge big time problem. Because as CNN legal analyst, was it Eli Honig, that came on this show and talked to us about it, which over 1 million or 2 million of you witnessed when you watched my interview with him from weeks ago. He is an alumnus of the Southern District of New York, who is behind this prosecution of Sean P. Diddy Combs, and talked about their rate of success is over 80%. Over 80%. These are the things that are coming down the pike about Sean P. Diddy Combs. And here's what I want to say to y'all. Why am I bringing this up? Ladies and gentlemen, you know what's trending? Sean Diddy Combs named in 7 new lawsuits, other celebrities allegedly involved. New Diddy lawsuit claims pro athlete stopped the rapper from sexually assaulting a man at a Ciroc party. Sean Diddy Combs faces claims of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 with unnamed male and female celebrity in the latest round of lawsuits. All 3 of those headlines are trending. They're trending. Now, you could make the argument that the feds are trying to squeeze him and don't necessarily want this to go to a trial. He'll settle, plead guilty, do some significant time, and call it a day. You can do that. You can look at it from that standpoint. My point is, you can't dismiss it, because if they've got over 80% conviction rate, a lot of these cases get settled that way. There's a mountain of evidence that's accumulated, and as a result of that mountain of evidence they're throwing down upon you, your plight looks even more daunting. And suddenly the specter of 20 years or 15 years or something like that gets shoved out the window, because now you're looking at life. And ultimately, you might plead out so you can see the light of day before you expire and depart from this earth. This is the kind of stuff they come at you with. They're bringing up the freak-offs, the after parties. After the party, obviously, you got a party, got a situation in one of the stories where you're having a party in Miami. But that wasn't the real party. Got pictures of stars there and stuff like that. But they depart. And once they depart, you're still around, and you take the party to your Miami mansion. And there's scantily clad men and women. There's sex workers. There's orgies. There's drugs. And now we're hearing that a minor is accusing them of something. And then you're hearing about how somebody witnessed him engaging in sexual activity with a man. And then after you hear all of that, then you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, there's drugs. And then they're talking about how one woman was having sex with two men and there was white powder under her nose. This is all in the articles. It's all in the articles. And then you hear about the 13-year-old talking about she got a drink. And all of a sudden she got groggy and wanted to lay down. And then a male celebrity with Diddy and a female entered the room and had their way with her. Remember, Homeland Security raided the homes in Miami and LA before they arrested him. Remember that the allegations include him taping a lot of these sessions. And while taping a lot of these sessions, ultimately, according to the allegations, not proof, because he categorically and emphatically denies this stuff through his lawyers at this particular moment in time, they say he used the video as intimidation to get them to capitulate to whatever demands he may make. And then we see the statement from his attorneys. Mr. Combs and his legal team have full confidence in the facts, their legal defenses, and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, adult or minor, man or woman. Let me tell you why. And this is just speculation, of course. I know nothing about this, but being a reporter by trade, investigating an inordinate amount of stories in my career, seeing what mountains of evidence look like, etc. Let me tell you where the tapes become very incriminating. Why have them? I mean, there's porn all over the place. Do you really, really need to see yourself and others in your home? And let's say that for the sake of argument, that answer is yes. Okay, fine. No problem. Consenting adults, blah, 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 blah. But it's not going to be far-fetched for jurors to believe that you may have wanted to use those on-camera activities to your advantage in terms of getting people to capitulate to what you wanted them to do from a business standpoint. What I mean by that is that the music industry, in terms of trying to convince you to do things their way in terms of a contract, music deals, etc., etc. When you think about this kind of evidence and the kind of accusations that have already been thrown out by accusers, it all entails that kind of activity. They were forced, they were compelled, they did things against their will, they were drugged, etc. I don't know how the baby oil, 1,000 bottles of baby oil comes into the equation. I really, really don't know. But it's worth noting. All of that matters. Yeah, it's tough to get 12 jurors to see your way. But remember what Eli Honig said about the Southern District of New York. He said more than 80% conviction rate, usually compelling folks to settle. It usually doesn't get to court all of the time anyway. Because the mountain of evidence, the preponderance of evidence that have been mounted against you is so significant, you don't see how you can have a way out of it. Who knows? Who knows?